damn it. Freddie, please post the tweet in the chat, please. I I really want to get that tweet up. It was the comeback was epic, and even redacted could not respond. But again, yeah, you know what? Yeah, Freddie deserves every credit for this because she pulled this up and put it and just like, no, that's not true. That's not true. Johnny did not do that. Sorry, not Johnny did not do that. Adam did not do that. Right. So we're gonna play it here.
You see that? Well, before you go there, Mr. Waldman, I asked you a question. I just read that and said, do you see that? Can you answer that question?
I thought I answered yes, but yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. And is that an accurate statement?
No.
What is inaccurate about it?
It says it was Adam Waldman who first contacted Rolling Stone. That's incorrect.
What is correct?
What is correct is that I was not the first to contact Rolling Stone.
Who first contacted Rolling Stone?
Mr. Depp.
I'm going to ask the question, notwithstanding.
Oh, chuckle.
Right. So
Too much.
is this your queen? Is this your queen?
Is that your queen? Oh, go back to that tweet. I need to see what else she said.
Okay, so yeah, it started with the Guardian. No, it wasn't Tatiana Single. My bad. Tatiana Single wrote in December of 2020. So, damn it, are you really gonna do this? So, but right, flipping it. So many ads. Okay, so trolls, tweets, and famous friends. A vicious PR war between Amber Heard, etc. So this was July 2020. That this was first actually started, and this was during the so this was when it all, so to speak, started. It says her side has now alleged that was a phalanx of cyberbots. Again, this is key because you wanna know why? Says it was a phalanx of cyberbots, edited video clips, and dubious Twitter accounts. It's all hallmark of public relations search. If it is, then it may be the biggest attempt to shore up high-profile reputation. This Weekend reports by Bot Sentinel, a group that uses artificial intelligence to detect and track robots, allegedly on trustworthy Twitter accounts, has made public that exposes the use of autonomous bots, which phrase fire her roles backlit cases. But simply put, before Botometer, it was Bot Sentinel. And the reason why Bot Sentinel is not named in that podcast whatsoever is because Christopher Boozy has been embarrassed in the worst way possible by Twitter, by everyone online. He has been he has been showed to be a fraud, and to be honest, he hasn't surfaced since. I haven't seen him since. One is kind of on, not on the fly, but kind of where I cover the things that I wouldn't really go into like legally or anything like that, where on the Heinz report is just basically, you know, going into the legal stuff, doing more of a deep dive legally, and you know. So this one is kind of where I get to sit back and talk with you guys, you know, on some of the things that I've seen but didn't cover on the channel, or couldn't cover on the channel. So that's what this show is essentially about. Okay. I think I was muted again. So I think I was muted again. I think I was muted again. So there is no one day I cannot go on stream without having technical difficulties. So I'm gonna do my best to like go through that intro and basically run through it again. So basically, uh, again, apologies for the technical difficulty because yeah, I'm still like I I'm still trying to get acquainted to the setup that I have, the rig that I have. But nonetheless, what I was basically saying is for today's stream, we have two cases that really piqued my interest, especially with the case of Dani Alves, where he was found guilty of the R word. And 1 second. So yes, he was found guilty of the R word. You can infer what that means, and because of YouTube, obviously my monetization rules, there are certain words I cannot actually pronounce on stream. So I'm gonna be replacing those words, and you kind of have to like infer the best you can. So now that we have the sound back, let me just roll back through what I was saying before the intro card played. Dani Alves was found, of course, guilty of rape. Damn it! Just said it. Hopefully, we will get away with it this one time. But he was found guilty of the R word, and essentially, the discourse during the trial and after the trial is what really caught my eye with this case. The story around this is really interesting, and we're gonna get into that much later. But the first case I do want to talk about, and again I went into this a bit of detail in that music section where we had a wee bit of technical difficulties. Quincy Promes was basically one of the players, one football player that was really doing really well. Then in 2020, out of nowhere, he was like news broke that he was basically found guilty of smuggling what's the word I'm looking for, smuggling baking soda through the borders of Holland, Belgium. I can't remember the other country that was in there, but he was found guilty of that, and he has been pretty much on the run since. He moved to a club called Spartak Moscow in Russia, and he's been playing for them after this whole guilty verdict. And he has really helped them, having a glitz career. Again, this was well known in Holland, but this was not well known elsewhere, everywhere else. Most of the times, stories like this, because of the players' PR and the club's, image consultants or whatever you want to call them, they usually bury stories like this. But this one, it's the way that this capitulated in 2023 is what really caught my eyes, because it's just weird. And we're gonna go run through a bit of the background, right now, to basically show what happened and why he was arrested, because that's what happened in according to the Guardian here. He was arrested in Dubai for baking soda trafficking, and he has been sentenced to 6 years in prison in the UAE. This case is really interesting, because the first question you want to ask is, this guy is rich already. Like, he's well known. So he's got 50 international caps for the Netherlands. So why on earth is this guy smuggling baking soda all through these channels? Why is he doing this? Do you need the money? What would be the reason for this guy? What would be the reason for this guy to, 1 second, let me just get the, article up so that you guys can see. What would be the reason for this guy to actually go through with this. Let me sort that out. 1 second, guys. There we go. Better. Yeah. So, what would be the reason for him to go through with this, and for him to basically be arrested in Dubai for all of this? Now, the story gets a bit convoluted because the story gets convoluted a bit, and we're gonna read a bit of the article before I give that little bit of a background. But right here, the article says, yes, it all leads back to it does lead back to the Amsterdam case, but this one, he's also in prison in the UAE for this, and the extradition laws in the UAE allows for Dubai, UAE, etc., allows for him to go back to Holland to basically serve his time as well. So he was going through Belgium, Brazil, etc., and it was 1,360 kilograms of baking soda. This is not lightweight. This is what the kingpin cartels would do. And he basically just turned up on the at the airport, and he was basically arrested on site at the airport. But that article doesn't detail much as to why they actually arrested him in Dubai, because the case in Netherlands, that was already done in 2020, and they were trying to extradite him from Russia to Holland, but it was difficult because of the Ukraine war, and they don't have extradition treaties in Holland, between Holland and Russia, to extradite him. So this guy was in Russia. He was still playing football despite all of this. So he was still playing football and he was still making his money. He was still doing what he supposedly loves. He moved immediately after the trial was done, and he was found guilty. I think that was in December 2020. I'm gonna go to the article now, 1 second, to give you a bit more of a concise context. But that was in December 2020, I believe. He moved to Ajax in 2020. Sorry, he moved from Ajax to Sparta Moscow, which begs the question: if this guy is wanted, why would you sell him to Russia? Like, there was so many moving parts in this case that I'm like, wait a second. You are at a club, and they know that you have been found guilty of doing illegal activities. So why would they sanction your sale and make it harder for the government of the same club to basically put you in prison? I don't know anything about that case. I don't know anything that goes on. Obviously, I'm speculating a lot here. I'm not really saying much. I'm just trying to deduce and logically come to, just think what is actually going on, and how did he even get the move to Russia in the first place, a country that doesn't have a treaty with the Netherlands. And it's showing me that there is a dark side to football, or there is a dark side to these people's lives that warrants a bit of exploring. So I'm going to do my best to explore this and try to see what really happens. And we're going to go back to that Dubai case because to that sentencing, but this background is really needed. So let me change the header. Apologies for this. Oop. So right here, sorry. So right here, it says here. So this was written in 2023, and it basically goes through the and it basically goes through the details of the case back in 2020. So this week was sentenced. This week, Dutch follower Quincy Promes was sentenced to 18 months in prison for stabbing his cousin at a party in 2020. Forgot to mention that. I will. That was his charge. that was his charge in the Netherlands. That is because Promes is based in Russia. Russia has no extradition treaties, etc. And even with a sentence hanging over him, there's even a bigger criminal charge in the background. And this is where it gets really interesting, because outside the stabbing charge, because they do want him to come and spend time for that, but it's also the fact of the drug smuggling, the baking soda smuggling that was allegedly going on in 2018. So it goes on to say here, I'm not sure if you can you guys see that? Yeah, you guys can see that. One second. Let me just show it here. Just zoom in a little bit for you guys to see better. Oh, nothing is working. What's going on? I can't zoom in for some reason. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's a bit better. Okay, let me just scroll down here. The Netherlands is a major coke baking soda trafficking hub because we are in a strategic part of Western Europe and our infrastructure is very good, etc. It goes on to say, but but basically, again, all of this is going back to 2020, and because of the invasion in Ukraine, it makes it harder for him to basically get out of. To basically, it basically makes it hard for. It makes it hard for Holland to, or the Netherlands in this case, to basically communicate with Ukraine, with Russia, to bring him back to the Netherlands. There's a specific part that I'm trying to get to the cocaine. To the baking soda part. Yeah, so this is the statement issued by the courts goes on to explain that there are standing circumstances which detail how prosecutors got their evidence, which led to Promes being charged with crimes that carry even a bigger sentence. In addition to the witness statements, the file contain WhatsApp conversation and wiretap conversations. It says it says those intercept conversations were obtained from another investigation into drug trafficking. The court reject Promes' lawyers' arguments that the rendered evidence is on the stabbing inadmissible but Promes, he said he will appeal the verdicts, etc. In 2021, Promes denied any involvement in stabbing. So the stabbing case, that was done. That was basically done, but that was basically denied, and he was already sentenced. So he was trying to get extradited for that. But there was also a bigger case that was being built up, that he's now being caught, and that's why you saw the drug smuggling charge. You saw the drug smuggling charge and why he's in prison for that. It goes back to this in 2018 because it says for a long time Dutch police have been tapping the phone of Promes after suspecting his first involvement in baking soda trafficking in 2018. Prosecutors said he allegedly communicating with others, large drug trafficking by two encrypted messaging platform, Eurotrack, etc. Don't download that. Both were closed down after being infiltrated by the police in 2020, 2021. So that case was done. He's now going to be extradited because this case was still going on, and they needed to also extradite him to Holland to also stand trial for this case as well, which they can't do because evidently he was in Russia at the time. In 2021, the transfer was done. He went to Russia. Oh, Yeah, these and again, like I said, these are not small amounts. 650 kilos to 750 kilos are base. It's lots. It's lots. Um, they're going through UK, Europe, etc. And the interesting part about this story here is this one, which I'm gonna get to now, because and this is where I'm going to get a bit speculative because I don't know. I don't know the link between this cartel. I don't know the link between this cartel and Quincy Promise, but I can't ignore it because it was. I can't ignore it basically because no one else is connecting or pointing towards this cartel. I'm going to explain in a bit, but before we continue, please make sure you hit that like button. And hopefully you are enjoying the show so far. Again, I would like to apologize. Well, I'm gonna get better at these streams, but but again, this case is very I feel like it needed to be talked about because I wanted to talk with you guys about it because I kind of wanna again get into a psyche of why someone might decide to do something like this. So it's really a massive topic of interest for me. And I hope you guys are enjoying the stream so far. I hope you guys are actually enjoying the stream so far. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you also share this with your friends and get them to become involved with the stream. And I'm happy to see you guys here once again. Yes, as you know, we always do this live every Wednesday. And we look at different cases. Next week we have the case of Sherry Spencer to look at, which was a case where she falsely accused her husband of abuse, basically darvoed him. But that case is very weird as well, simply because of the fact that she was receiving a lot of help even after the proof was basically in the pudding. The proof was right there that she was not the victim that she was claiming to be, but it's like this. So that's the next episode. You can join us for that one when false accusation goes awry. It's what the title I think I'm gonna call it, but we're gonna see if I'm gonna stick to that title. But basically, back to this case though. In the case of Dani Alves and Quincy Promes, in the case of Dani Alves, I don't know how to say his name. Dani Alves and Quincy Promes, it's just a weird and wonderful case. Sorry, not weird and wonderful, weird and disturbing. I'm saying weird and wonderful for weird and disturbing case of how you throw away your life. And we're gonna go back to Quincy Promes for the how you throw away, your life in the case of Quincy Promes, because he literally did. But to go back to that connection that I was talking to you about, this is the connection. So we have here, let me just adjust this to fit screen, cosmetic changes, apologies, gives me a little bit of OCD not seeing it in the box. I like things in boxes. Okay, so let me try and fix this. Oh. Okay. Bear with me 1 second. Almost done. Right, so in the case of that's done. Oh, thank God. Now I feel a bit better. In the case of Quincy Promes, this was the Super Cartel members jail for life in Netherlands. So here it says Super Cartel members Radwan Taghi was jailed for life in the Netherlands today after being extradited from UAE. This is 2024, February 27th. When was Quincy Promes arrested? According to reports, he was arrested in February 2024 in the UAE. He's not been extradited yet, because the reports here are basically saying they picked up the news late, but basically Sky News was basically reporting it that he was already sentenced. He was already sentenced for all of that. But it's actually here. Quincy convicted in absentia for drug trafficking, etc., has been basically according to CNN, he has been arrested in Dubai, and this is the part that gets me, because not only did he commit this crime, not only did he's been found guilty now, so he definitely, they obviously had a lot of evidence to prove it, because you don't just turn up to court as a prosecution in terms of a case like this, saying that he has X amount of cocaine, etc. You don't just turn up to court and you don't have any evidence to show for this allegation. It rarely happens. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I haven't seen it, but basically, he has been found. Leading European soccer player, Quincy Promes, CNN, by the way, so that's why it says soccer, who was consented, has been arrested in Dubai at the request of Judge Prelude, who was seeking extradition, etc. Promes, who has played, blah blah. Okay, so now going down to he was central for all of this. The extradition procedure will now have extradition, etc. So the 30-year-old reportedly arrived in Dubai in January with Spartak Moscow to train during Russia's soccer's winter break. They contacted so Russia basically handed him over in that's probably why. Russia basically just like, hey, we can't, like, I mean, come on, like, isn't it a bit like, let's think about it. Isn't it a bit convenient that this guy is already being on trial for in the Netherlands? He can't get extradited from Russia to to the Netherlands because of the laws over there, and for some reason the club decides to go to Dubai for training. Out of any, they could have gone to America, or, well, Dubai is actually hot all year round. So I don't know. That America is probably worse because they probably do have extradition treaties over there. But it's just unfortunate. Like, did he see this coming at all? But he went with the team. According to this, he went with the team to train, and he was basically sentenced to that's a different one, my bad. He was basically in Dubai, and that's where he was arrested. Oh my gosh. And that's once the Netherlands have received notification that the UAE agrees to extradition requests, arrangements will be made for the actual transfer of the individual. And it's not a football transfer. It's a transfer to prison. So I'll say that. But this case is strange because it's strange for the reason, in the sense that it's strange in the sense that one, he was still playing despite all of this. Look, he was still playing all the games 2023, and then all of a sudden special leave. By the way, this is how I know. What do you mean winter break? Like, well, they do have a winter break. There is no denying that. But he had a special leave. We now know why that special leave is there, because he has been arrested in Dubai, and he's now in prison. Look at it's an American format. So this is March. This is when the arrest was going on in Dubai. Let me just go to the article to show that. 1 second. I think it's here. Yeah. It was picked up late, but I did have an article. I'm not sure if did I close it by accident? Probably did. But it was on the 2nd of November of March that he was actually arrested. And he was basically taken to try, and he was basically taken to prison. For that. Consuela's joined us. How you doing? How you doing, Consuela? Thank you so much for joining. Hey, hey, to the BAME, Consuela. I hope you're well. But yeah, we are going to get into the Dani Alves story in a bit. I just wanted to go through this because this case, he had everything. So basically, it says police in Dubai again arrested former Dutch fugitive, etc. The athlete is considered a fugitive in the Netherlands due to drug trafficking conviction in February. So he was actually arrested. He didn't go to. Basically, he did not attend the trial he didn't attend the trial for either of them. So for the stabbing of the brother or cousin, I don't know who it was. For the stabbing, he basically wasn't at trial either, and he wasn't at trial for this one either. So he's a convict, basically. He's a convict, and they had enough evidence anyway to lock him up without needing his testimony. I mean, it's pretty much done. So the arrest that he was initially arrested for was a hidden car run, and I think, this was in March 1st. This was this is when he was given that special leave on the 3rd, because the trial was probably around that time. So he was, I did close it down by accident, yes. This was the first time that he was connected to a hit and run. That's why they arrested him. But they let him go because they didn't have any proof that he was actually part of that hit and run. But again, this part here, the footballer was caught and showed up intending to catch a flight out of the Arab Emirates, which again, if you look at the matches that they are playing, this is why I think the club just dropped him there, and they just were like, okay, we don't want to be affiliated with you, like, one way or the other. And that's what I think, because these matches is happening on the so he's most likely he is going back to try and play these matches, but he's been rearrested again. Why obviously he had to stay back again. He had to stay back to deal with this hit and run, and when he tried to go back, they caught him for something else. So it says the footballer was caught. He showed up at the Dubai airport intending to catch a flight out of the United Arab Emirates. Soon after, the Dutch authorities said they could begin discussing the possibility of extradition, but Promes was allowed to leave the jail cell awaiting further details. After his release, Promes was reportedly for enjoying freedom and nightlife in Dubai, etc. Blah blah. The arrested man was reported staying blah blah. Let me try and get to the actual point. A month earlier, Prelude announced they would also put him in trial for importing that's a lot of kilograms of baking soda, by the way. In Russia, he seems to think it's untouchable, blah blah. But this is the part that I want, because it's around the actual arrest that I want. So it says the Promes arrived in January to train with the Russian football team. Weeks after he arrived, the District Court of Amsterdam issued its verdict in the drug trafficking case. The Netherlands notified Interpol, who issued the red notice. Police in the UAE were somewhat unclear, saying that Promes was taken into custody by Border Control Police at Dubai Airport for the Interpol notice, but also the hit and run crash. So it's weird, because it's like this is why I believe it's in connection with this one, because like I saw this case and I'm like, he was extradited in February. This guy was there in February. This is why I believe it actually, like, they kind of tangled together, and he's being extradited for this. Because there must be some kind of link to this crime boss. There must have been like links to this crime boss. Because again, that crime boss has been extradited to Holland as well for the same charges. So that special leave that he's on from the club, did they plan it? I have no idea. I can't say anything like that. But it's just weird that the minute he turned up, he's like, okay, cool, let's get him out of here, sort of thing. I mean, good on the UAE or whatever for like, but again, there's a discussion here to be had in regards to the fact that I cannot believe you have. Let's talk about it. Before we do, let's just go to that random girl. Thank you so much for joining. Of course, there were audio. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm practicing. I'm trying to practice, but it's really hard to get used to the interface. If you don't learn to press a button, you're kind of effed. So I apologize for the audio issues. I really do. But thank you so much for joining. I love you too, random girl. Thank you so much. But so I want so in regards to this case, right? In regards to this case, you see this. Help me answer this. If you had all the money in the world, because he's not getting paid small money, he's actually getting paid a lot of money to play football. If you had all the money in the world, why would you decide to go and deal drugs? Why would you decide? Because he's already found guilty of it. So it definitely happened one way or the other. He's already found guilty of it. So why would you decide to make this your side hustle? Like, of all the side hustle to have, he could have made a YouTube career. He could have he has a personality as well. Like, he has a quite good following on Instagram. He could have, like, I have no idea why he would be entangled in this, and there is nothing to suggest that he wasn't entangled in this, because there are conversations of it. In fact, I think I closed it down by accident, but there were actual reports that he yes, he's here, right? Okay, I did not close it down. Let me go back to it, and we're gonna go into the Dani Alves coitus case, illegal coitus case, but it's here. He actually said it's cap, so he says it's not true here. So, like, this was when it was reported by the Shade Room on Instagram. On Instagram, I don't know the date. When was the date? This is recently, actually, and he says it's cap. This is recent. Sorry, and he says it's cap. So I don't understand. This is 2nd of March. We just read all the stories around this, and he says it's cap, but I don't understand. How are you saying it's cap when they have you dead on rights in terms of messages to even bring the case forward? Like, it's very serious, and you didn't attend trial because you're clearly in the UAE at this time. So you couldn't attend the trial in Holland. Why are you on the run for Holland? But most importantly, why are you caught up in this life? That's all for that case. But I just thought it's such a weird case. It's such a weird case. It's funny as well, because I'm like, you have everything you want, and you're still. And this wasn't at any point. This was during the time that he moved. This was during the time that he moved from. All of this happened in 2018. According to reports, it was from 2018, and he was having a hell of a career from 2018, playing for Seville, etc. And then he moved to Ajax. And then he moved to Spartak Moscow, and then he moved to Ajax, sorry, yeah, no, sorry. That's not correct. That's not correct. 1 second. No, Seville first, Ajax second, Spartak. No, no. Let me get his transfer up because it's been a while since I actually looked at his. Because I this guy was linked with moves to the Premier League. I definitely remember it, and I looked at it profile a long time ago. But yeah, he was. Yeah, he moved to Seville, Ajax, then Spartak. Okay, that's actually true. So he actually was reviving his career after moving from Seville to Ajax. And yeah, anyway, why would you do something like this? Is beyond me. But let's go into the case of Dani Alves. Before we could do that, make sure you hit the like button, and and also hit the subscribe button so that you can be notified whenever we go live. I appreciate every single one of you, even if it's just to be honest. I know that these streams, especially when it's not on a trial, is going to be very hard for people to jump in and say hi, etc. But I appreciate every single one of you, even if you're just 5 people. These stories do interest me. I would do my best to try and become better at telling these stories, because last time we ran a story on a psychosis induced killer, and then we also done a story on how Amber Heard's PR is going through the PR the channels to try and repair whatever part of her rep. These are all here. So this, like I said, if you don't know what Heinz Sight is about, I'm always surveilling. I'm always looking for stories to tell you that I may not cover in a live trial. So this is kind of where we kind of hang out and talk about those cases, and we talk about the broader implications of these cases. And this next one, really pulled on my heartstrings, because it's already hard enough for men already to be believed if it was the other way around, right? There are people that go through things that I'm about to read out here, and you will see the difference. I want to show you the difference between the case of Dani Alves and people that actually do lie about things like this. I'm going to show you the clear difference, because it's very important, to me at least, when you see a case like this, you actually call it out and you don't try to defend it in any way. Because what was going on during trial was, in my opinion, very deplorable. I did not expect to see Neymar, for example. If you don't know who Dani Alves is, very big in Brazil. You may not know him outside of football, but I'm pretty sure you know the Brazilian team and how good they are, etc. You may have heard about that. You may have heard of Dani Alves, because I mean, a lot of people have. He was very decorated, well known in Spain for his works under Pep Guardiola, best manager in the world at the moment. With Barcelona, the best club at a certain point, not so much now. Or if you're outside the world of sports, etc., you might not have known these people, but they are very well known. So, what happened during the trial? We're gonna go and read a story here, so that you can get an idea. So the BBC reported that the trial is about to begin. So this is the kind of context that you need. There is more context I can provide, and I will touch on it a little bit so that you can kind of see how, I mean, I can understand. We will touch on it. We will touch on it. There is more context. There are details that was revealed that I'm not going to reveal on the stream, but it does include doxing, etc. Just to preface that. But I'm not going to reveal what was doxed or who was doxed. Well, I'm going to say who was doxed, but I'm not going to link to the article that was sharing the name and the info of the person, basically. But basically, in the trial that was set to begin, basically says he could face 12 years if found guilty. The truth is, they actually they were seeking the maximum sentence. He reduced from 9 to 8 from 12 to 9 years, then 8 years, then 6 years, and we got to the sentencing of 4 years. And this is one of those cases let me just read it out here. It says the Barcelona court on Monday denied his request to suspend the trial so that he could give him more time to prepare, rejecting his claim that he has suffered a trial by media. That's a weak claim. I mean, if this case was televised, I think he may have got it, but no. And to be honest, this is probably one of those cases that I think should be televised, and I'm going to expand more on that why. More on that later on, sorry. She alleges he lured her into the toilet. Sorry about that. Into a toilet in the VIP section of a nightclub in Barcelona and then forced her to have coitus with him. The woman's cousin and a friend who were both with her on the night of the alleged assault also testified on Monday. They said that Mr. Alves had groped and flirted with them earlier in the evening. They also said the woman had initially had been unwilling to make a complaint because she feared she would not be believed. In Spain, a claim of the R word is investigated under the general accusation of SA, and convictions could lead to prison sentences of 4 to 15 years. The public prosecutor in the case seeking a 9-year jail term for Mr. Alves and for him to pay damages of up to £128, which is 150k euros to the woman. Lucia Alves, which is the mother of Dani Alves, who was at court alongside her son, could face prosecution herself after she named her son's accuser on social media before a trial. So there was an embargo to protect this woman's identity. She went on and doxed her. That was the extra context I was alluding to, because there is a lot more story into it and why she was doing it, because she really believed he was innocent and this girl was out to basically get him. Mr. Alves was formally charged in August, and the court later decided that there was enough evidence to send him to trial. Repeated requests for him to be released on bail have been denied. This is key. Please hold on to this, because the courts considered the Brazilian national a flight risk. Dani Alves is one of the most decorated football. We know that already. Blah blah. I'm not gonna go into that, but basically, well, it's not decorated anymore. I mean, but we're gonna go into all of it. So the next part of this story. So that was on the 5th of February as the trial was begin. I think it was a 14-day trial or 14-day trial, I believe. I don't know. You'll probably say on the next article. So the next article reads, he was found guilty of nightclub rape or illegal coitus. Before going into this, let me just go into the chat and just see Lucia, Daniel and his team are shameless. Reading into this case, everyone involved. I mean, I want to get your opinions, because I'm gonna get to the proper iceberg, the abyss of this case, because post trial is worse. I mean, the trial discourse, I'll be very honest, and I gotta thank Luz for this, because it wasn't if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have known that Neymar had, which we're gonna get into before reading the post trial, but because of Luz, because I sent her this story on Twitter, because I saw it and he was being framed as sexual assault. So I was like, wait, why is he getting 4 years for, SA? Why is he getting 4 years for that? This is not a punishment that would arise to that. But I was thinking of it in the UK context. I initially thought it would be in Brazil. That was where the case was happening, but it was actually in Spain. So I was thinking, okay, SA over here wouldn't it like it's rape, like it wouldn't be that maximum maybe 4 years, but it wouldn't be up to like, because when I was reading the reports, they were saying it was essay, etc. And to me, that seems so light until I realized it was actually the R word. Like, he was actually doing this. So I was like, whoa. Because I just thought it was just groping and this and that. That's what essay actually is. At least in my interpretation. I do concede I would need to brush up on this and study a bit more in regards to this realm, so that I know what each and every terminology actually stand for, mean, and what weight each of them would carry, so that I know how to better articulate this. But definitely, I always view essay as kind of a lesser compared to like the R word, etc. So when I saw it, I was like, you're sending him to prison for like 4 years for this? That makes no sense. And this was around February when we're showing the shows. Like, no, there's more to this. He was actually supposed to get more than 4 years. He was supposed to get 8. He was supposed to get 12. Then he was reduced to 9, 8, and 4, as we read in the article. But this was during the trial that was happening. I wish I retained those articles that you sent me, because it's a great. Let me actually go into the DMs and try to pick it out actually. But the interesting fact that came out of this is that they had the video, to actually put Dani Alves at the bathroom where this thing literally. So there was actual proof that he actually went there. And remember the denial that he was making in the article, that he was denying that he didn't do anything. So 1 second, let me just get let me just grab the articles that were sent to me contemporaneously as the case was going on. Let me try and grab it, because there was quite a bit. Yeah, let me try and find it. There was only. Yeah. So I was. 1 second. Let me just get it up. Okay, so this is one of the articles that was sent to me. So we're gonna read this one together. But before we go into that article, I just want to read the Neymar stuff, because that was what came out. So after he was found guilty, let me just Neymar's father says family won't bail Dani Alves out. So after he was found guilty of illegal, coitus, the reason why they're saying they won't bail him out on this occasion, I mean, how nice of you to say it now. The father of Brazil star Neymar Jr. said on Thursday their family won't bail him out, etc. Neymar said in a statement on behalf of his family that they financially supported Alves during this trial, but they won't do it again since the former player has been found guilty of sexually assaulting a woman in a Barcelona nightclub in 2022. For my family, this matter is over, full stop. The question is, why did you get involved in the first place without knowing all the facts? That's my question. Because the case, I mean, it must have been incredible to have, you must have seen something. Like, was he being told? I mean, if I was to be fair to Neymar, maybe I could say he was being told two things. He maybe was giving conflicting information by Dani Alves, but I haven't seen anything that would exonerate this guy, in my opinion. Make sure you hit that like button, by the way. The prison term is near the lowest for a rape conviction, which, when attack took place, was penalized for 4 to 12 years. So the court, in his sentence, said it considerably favored for Alves that he had, before trial, paid the court 150 euros to be given to the victim without any conditions attached. So that's why he got the lesser sentence. I don't know. I tried looking for this. I'm going to be honest. It's hard for me to look for what this is referring to and why this rule is in place. But I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. I personally think if you're going to do something like this, I personally think you might get an ad on your screen, by the way. But for everyone that is tuned in right now, thank you so much for actually tuning in. And I hope you are enjoying the stream. So make sure you hit that like button and and also share this as well. But just to go back to the Dani Alves thing, I don't agree with the fact that he can actually pay and then because of that they look favorite. I don't agree with that. I think it's something that he should, if you're gonna pay or do something like that, it has to come with a guilty plea. Because to me, this is screaming, I did it and I feel guilty. Why would you do this if you didn't do it? That was the part during the trial to even learn he was paying before the trial starts. I didn't learn that from the BBC article, by the way. Did you read that? Did you see anything like that? So this came out after the trial was done. This came out because I only learned about it after the trial was done and it was shared by, I think it was NPR, Associated Press, by the way. That was such a credible source. I gotta thank Consuela for that, because she really came through with that. Alves, who has denied wrongdoing in this case, has remained in custody since being arrested in January 2023. Brazil does not extradite its own citizens when they are sentenced in other countries. Okay. As a bail condition, Alves will be required to hand over his Brazilian and Spanish passport. He's prohibited from leaving Spain, blah, 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 blah. I think that's basically it. So the most interesting, and I think I'm gonna look into this case as well, because Robinho is also another footballer, and I actually do know about this case. He has always had cases of SA stemming back to his playing career, and I do plan to do a stream bringing them all together so that we can discuss this, because end of the day, like I said, I actually believe if you want to take false accusations seriously, or if you want for people to actually take it seriously, you got to equally treat the credible cases and not try to minimize it. Because that's my issue with the people that say that false accusations do not exist when they do. The people that say that, what they tend to do is sweep the actual credible false allegations under the rug. I don't want that, because it makes me, well, for one, it creates partisanship so that when it comes to an actual credible case, people doubt over it. And I don't agree with that. I don't think when you look at cases that are actually credible, like this one here, like there was a flipping camera that showed, it didn't show the attack happening, by the way. It didn't show but it showed that they went into the bathroom. And it wasn't most likely not consensual. The jury cannot it was not. It was most likely not. I have not seen this video for myself because of different countries they have, but I personally think if there was a way to get every country to start streaming their trials and everyone was on board with it, I would be on board for whatever policy that will allow that to happen. I'll be on board, because we need to see things like this so that we can act, because I really believe it will take us back into being logical when we look at these cases and not just brush every case under the same rug. Because the one thing I hate is the discourse around these cases, because I was seeing that if Neymar, I was seeing things on tweets, and I wish I saved them tweets. Now I'm gonna start doing this. I'm gonna start saving tweets. But I was seeing tweets that was saying, well, if Neymar is paying for him, and if his friends like Memphis Depay, etc., are actually supporting him, he did not do it. And I'm like, where do you get these takes from? Like, it's a false accusation, etc. But anyway, so I'm gonna go into the NPR article, because this is with the Associated Press, and I'm gonna go to the BBC article after that. But remember, in the article that we just read on the in regards to Neymar in the ESPN, we did not read that that you know how much he paid during the trial, and now he says he's not gonna pay for his bail. My thing is, why is bail even allowed for this guy? He's gonna meet it. He's rich. He's already made his career. He's a billion. Well, I don't know about billionaire, but definitely millionaire. So he can afford to pay that bail. I wouldn't even give it to him. Maybe there's different bail conditions, etc. All those things, but I think it should. I don't think it should be allowed to. Anyway, my reasons are not good because of the lack of knowledge I have, but I promise I will beef up on this so that I can really again articulate myself, because I will admit some things I am very ignorant to, but not everything. I have common sense to know that I wouldn't say this guy is being falsely accused like it was being said on trial, because not from what I read during the time. I was like, yeah, he's definitely guilty. I mean, the fact that you're even paying and they're giving you a lower sentence because you paid, I think that's egregious. That's a if I was the victims, I'm not gonna do that, but I'm not gonna say that. But what I'm trying to say is that I think that's even worse, that you are lowering the sentence just because he paid. That's even a bigger slap in the face to the actual victim in this case. That's what I personally think. Take the money, yeah, give it to her, but don't lower your sentence. If she wants the money, she wants the money. If she don't, she don't. But lowering your sentence is kind of like, for what? He still pled not guilty. What are you doing this for? That don't make no sense. Anyway, going into this article. Let me read it. Oh, fuck yeah, okay. I lost myself in a bit there. Okay, so it says here, soccer star, again, American, so they call it soccer rather than football, but sure. He's found guilty for 4.5 years. Basically, yeah, we know he's a most successful, blah, blah. We're going to get into the aftermath of the trial in a bit. I still believe in the innocence of Mr. Alves, Ines Guardiola, Alves' lawyer said. Ines Guardiola is not related to Pep Guardiola in any way. I actually had to look it up. Because I was like, but Guardiola is actually quite a popular name in Spain. But I actually had to look it up. I was like, is this like his sister or anything like that? Nope, there is actually no connection. I need to study the ruling, but I can tell you, of course, we will appeal. So they haven't appealed yet, but they aim to appeal. He's gonna study. She is gonna study the ruling. I don't think you have much leg to stand on. I think it's gone. It's concluded. If I would just take it and just go to prison. Maybe, most likely, he's gonna get out on good behavior or something like that in probably 2 years or whatever. This is kind of where I agree with some of the people that are, even though they're taking an extreme stance on the Me Too movement, etc. But this is where I do agree with them, that there do have to be some reforms when it comes to like how this whole prison thing is run. I mean, again, I understand why good behavior is there, because some people do show reform. Some people do. But I don't know, man. I don't know, because I don't know. I don't have the answers. Let me go back into it. Before I get on a tangent again, let me just finish reading this. It says, we are satisfied, member of the legal team said, because the verdict recognizes that what we have always known, that the victim told the truth, that she has suffered. Of course, the victim said that Alves outwarded her in a bathroom of a Barcelona nightclub on December 2022. The court considered it proven that the victim did not consent to the coitus, and there was evidence. In addition to the in addition to the defendant's testimony that she was outwarded, Alves testified, "I'm not that kind of man." Let me go to the chat real quick. Grape is a good subject for the R word. Yeah, okay, I'll start using grape. He lied too several times. I'm gonna get to that. Because I was reading it when I was reading the BBC article. I didn't go to I forgot about the NPR article until I obviously got it up now. But when I was reading the BBC article, I was like, you can't. This guy is lying. So why are you even going? This is what I'm saying. This is when I get to the BBC article, you're gonna see why I was really just making that little rant earlier, that little mini rant earlier. I would like to add a note to not the extradition. I would like to add a note to the not extradition. Robinho committed rape in Italy and will serve in Brazil. Oh, okay. Brazilians are not used to laws being applied to them when they are rich. Oh, okay, I get it. Okay, thank you for that context. So they do extradite. It's just would I be right by saying it's just rarely enforced? Princess, let me know in the chat. But once again, thank you every single one of you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button, please. It will really help with the algorithm and the boosting of this channel. Make sure you also share as well. Let me quickly just do my own sharing. Let me do my own sharing. Bear with me. Okay, bear with me for this one. I appreciate your patience, honestly, guys. Once I get better, I will become better at this. All of this is very, very new to me. And I must admit, I will become better at it. But I have been asking around how to get better at it, and so much advice has been given. So it's one of those ones now. It's just left for me to implement, and that is something I am doing. But hopefully you will see the results in the coming weeks, because I have loads of streams and loads of videos to release. Just want to announce that the part 3 of Depth v Heard docuseries that I've done, that's going to be out. It's a 5-part docuseries. Part 3 of it is the concluding part, and that's going to be out next week. Members get to watch it first, and they also will get an extended cut of it as a thank you for becoming members of this channel. That cut will not be available anywhere else, but you will get the extended cut to basically see what I actually did remove from it, and from the final cut, for time constraints, etc. Or the tangents I wanted to go on but couldn't. So you guys get to see that. There will be also interviews being released on the channel. All of the interviews will be released periodically. And of course, for those that don't know, Ketchup Man will be only available for Heinz Sight members. Not Heinz Sight, that's the name of the stream, sorry. For Heinz Hall members. And what this entails is basically where I give my members bonus content. So if you like bonus content, bonus exclusive content that isn't law related, again, I stress it's not law related. Every member gets to see my law related bonus content, but the exclusive bonus content for the Heinz Hall is not always law related, and that's where Ketchup Man resides. You get to see the content for that straight away, and it'll be available all this month. There's more and more content coming, and I will be announcing them in the community notes. I appreciate every single one of you for the patience that you guys have shown as I'm really trying to navigate this space, brand my channel well, so that you guys understand what I'm trying to do here, and I'm not trying to waste your time. Basically, I am really trying to put up good content. I am really trying to find you the most interesting stories. Like I said, next week we're going to be exploring the case of Sherry Spencer, and we're also going to be dissecting the case of Drake Bell. Apologies if you can hear the fireworks in the background. I don't know what's going on, but we're also going to be putting a bow on the Jonathan Majors case, and just put that case to bed, and we're going to give you the Heinz Legal Lab breakdown of that, so that you can see everything from the vantage point, not from my vantage point or anyone's vantage point, from the vantage point of Jonathan Majors. I'm going to try and tell it so that you can see how all these things were going on around while this guy was trying to navigate his life. So that's the extra edge that I'm trying to do, and that will come out on the Heinz Legal Lab. So hopefully you guys are prepared for a lot of the content that I have coming out for the month of April and May. So thank you again, once again, for showing your support. If you desire or like the content that I do on this channel, consider becoming a member. Make sure you hit that like button as well while you're here, so that we can have a whale of a time. So let's go back into the stream with Dani Alves and what's been going on here. So before we do that, I actually just noticed something that Princess Consuelo just said in regards to the extradition of Brazilian players. So she basically said no to my question in regards to they don't enforce it. So Brazilians do there is a law that allows extradition, they just don't enforce it. So she basically said no, because Brazilian doesn't have extradition deals. However, Italy asked Brazil to enforce the penalty in Brazil, and the Supreme Court accepted it. So he's in jail at the moment of serving his sentence. This is very interesting, and we are definitely going to look into this story because he's had loads of stories. He's had loads of stories coming around the essay, all of that. So I am preparing a stream for the future, probably in 3 weeks time or something like that, where I will look into this case as well. Because again, like I said, if you want to take false accusations seriously, if you want people to actually believe a false accusation is going on, you can't sweep the credible ones under the rug, and you cannot paint the rest of the cases in a brushstroke, because it doesn't help your cause. It doesn't help anybody. No progress can be achieved, because that's what the Me Too movement is doing. That's what they're doing. That's what they're saying. They want you to believe that there is no such thing as false allegations. So they sweep it under the rug, and they try to turn every case, even though it's in their face, insurmountable evidence to prove that this is false. They still try to talk about the bigger picture. And we're going to be looking into that case as well in regards to Eleanor Williams, because that's also happening with her. You thought Amber Heard was bad. You thought Amber Heard was bad. And the old PR thing about how she is the victim and all this. The case of Eleanor Williams, when I bring out that episode, that's what is going on now. You'll be sick. Because this one is beyond a shadow of a doubt, but still they try to minimize it, and it's sickening to me. It's completely sickening to me, and I can't wait to bring out that series to like break it down and show you why we shouldn't go down this route. And that's what my channel is about. I'm gonna try and bring in the most at least credible, like we talked about in the case of Troy Charles. We actually done a live stream of someone that's been falsely accused, and he brought evidence to prove what is, that he wasn't falsely accused. I even pointed out something to him within his own evidence that he missed. I was like, yeah, this is credible. Like, there's no way you could have done this because of this. Like, I didn't even notice that. So these people that are even fighting for themselves, the education is so not there. It's not really being taught out to the masses, that people that are suffering for it may not even be able to articulate what is going through in their life. That's why I'm doing this, so that at the very least, you have the tools to see what a false accusation is. I'll get better at it. I'll definitely get better at it. But definitely more and more streams are coming to do with people that have been falsely accused and people that have been victims and they were not taken seriously. Like, all of this is coming in the month of April and May. And I hope you guys will stick around and you guys enjoy the content that's pretty much coming here. But to go back into the case of Dani Alves, he says, "I'm not that kind of man." Alves denied during a 3-day trial this month that he raped. Would you please don't punish me? That he raped the woman, testifying to the court, "I am not that kind of man." State prosecutors have sought 9-year prison sentence for Alves, while the lawyers representing his accuser wanted 12 years. Of course, his defense asked for his acquittal, or if found guilty, 1 year sentence plus 50,000. What? Compensation for the victim. That's not even up to the lowest. That's not even up to. My man was into the court and was like, "Bro, I know we did it, and I know you have CCTV, but give him just 1 year." And remember, judge, he paid. Oh my gosh. Nah, the sentence of 4 years and 6 months is near the lowest sentence for a grape conviction, which, when the grape took place, was penalized by 4 to 12 years under Spanish law. That has since been modified to 6 to 12 years. This again, I read this as well, and the modification, to be quite. No, I'm not even trying to be fair. This happened in December 2022. The modification came in 2022, not even December, mid. So why did this modification not take place in this case, and why did it get 4? I think it came in. Don't hold me to that. I think it came in. Yes, I knew it. I knew I read it properly. It's right here. It says the case follows adoption of Spain's only yes means yes law. The Ajax case was the first, not right. Apologies for that. The Ajax case was the first high-profile sex coitus crime since Spain overhauled its legislation in 2022. This was December 2022. So, unless the law expressed that it's going to take effect in 2023, I would assume, and I'm going to be safe in assuming, that this took effect right away. So, for the fact that he did this a crime, I can't say alleged anymore because he's actually convicted now. So this crime took place in December 2022. To me, that screams 6 years minimum. But he got 4. This is what I hate. The legislation popularly known as only yes means yes law defines consent as an explicit expression of the person's will, making it clear that silence or passivity does not equal consent. The law, however, initially led to reduced sentences for hundreds of offenders because it set up lower minimum sentences, like the one applied to Alves before being reformed. Oh, I get it now. I get it. So basically, if it was expressed, you get 6 years minimum. If it wasn't expressed, it goes back to 4 years minimum. That's what I'm guessing here. It defaults back to 4 years if it wasn't expressed. Based on the yes means yes. So the yes means yes boosts up the sentencing. I get it. Okay, I see now. I see. From what I'm gathering, that's what I believe it means. I could be wrong. If I am wrong, please let me know in the chat. The sentence against Dani Alves clearly established he committed he committed SA because the victim did not consent. It is the result of the feminist fight for the right to coitus sexual freedom. I'm sure I can say sexual freedom, and putting consent at the center, she wrote on X, formerly of Twitter. Guardiola, Ines Guardiola, that is, based her defense during the trial on video from the nightclub security cameras that she showed how the woman danced with sexualized movements that showed her interest in Alves before the alleged sexual assault. I understand what you're doing, but let me go back to the BBC article because this part is really important. because this was what was going on. I'm gonna go side by side with both these articles, but this is really important, and I gotta say this. So he's been sentenced to. This is on the 22nd. He says a court. He's been sentenced of raping a woman. A lawyer for the victim welcomed the verdict, saying it recognizes we've always known the truth. Blah blah. We've already read that. We already know that. We've already been through that. I'm gonna get to the wife part later on. But he says they argued that it was at this point he turned. Okay, so sorry about that. Let me go back to it. So he says prosecutors said that Alves and his friend bought champagne for the 3 young women before Alves lured them to a VIP area of the nightclub where with a toilet which she had no knowledge of. They argued that it was at this point he turned violent, forcing the woman to have sex despite her repeated request to leave. So that's enough consent, but she didn't explicitly say yes. So she didn't say yes. So I'm trying to think, but at the same time she didn't explicitly say no. Maybe that's why he got a liar sentence, because I'm trying to think of this law that allowed that 4-year sentence in. That's, to me, that shouldn't be the case, because if it's yes means yes, yes means yes principle, that would be, I'm guessing the antonym would be obviously the no. So if she expressly said no, then the 6 years kicks in. But if she didn't say no, which I'm guessing they're going with here, or this is what the judge most likely based the sentencing on, that she didn't actually explicitly said no, that she was just trying to leave. So that trying to leave and not being up for it is what basically does say, yes, this is not really consent. You get 4 years. But if she especially said no, then he would have got 6. I'm guessing this. I'm guessing. I don't know what was going on in the courtroom because I couldn't see it. But anyway, moving on. In a statement, the court said there was evidence other than the victim's testimony that proves that she had been raped. It is said Alves had abruptly grabbed the complainant and thrown her to the ground. He had then raped her while preventing her from moving, as the complainant said no and wanted to leave. So it was expressed. So why not give him 6 years then? I'm confused. The woman said the rape had caused her anguish and terror. And one of her friends, oh yeah, I know. I know why now, because he paid. And one of her friends who was with her on the night described the 23-year-old cried uncontrollably after leaving the bathroom. What did Alves say to this? Alves had been held in pre-trial since January 2023, has changed his testimony on a number of occasions. He first denied knowing this accuser, only to claim later that he met her in the toilet, but that nothing happened between them. You're saying he met her in a toilet, but your lawyer is making come on, my God. Your lawyer is making the case for you that she was coming onto you and she was dancing in front of you, but you didn't know this person? Come on. You clearly saw her at the... She was with you. She was with you with the champagne. Why would you do this? Going back to the other article, now let's read it again. He says, Garcia, the victim's lawyer... Sorry, not that one. Guardiola based her defense during the trial on video from the nightclub security cameras that she said showed how the woman danced with sexualized movements that showed her interest in Alves before the alleged assault. Well, it's not alleged anymore. Garcia, the victim's lawyer, said at the close of trial the law made it irrelevant to how the client behaved. Of course, I don't care how she was dancing, etc. No meant no, because she did actually say no. And she was crying uncontrollably afterwards. It's not just this testimony. I know you guys don't like to value testimony, but that friend's testimony of her crying uncontrollably is credible, especially if it's backed up by the same cameras that is being used to defend Alves. I wish I could get transcripts of this case. I really do. because I would have loved to be like just to said. Anyway, the victim told state prosecutors she danced with Alves and willingly entered the nightclub bathroom, but that later, when she wanted to leave, he would not let her. Now I see why they were going through the. Again, it doesn't matter. I don't know about you, man. I'll get to that later on. She said he slapped her, he insulted her, and forced her to have sexual relations with her against her will. A police officer who testified during the trial said the victim had to overcome fears that nobody would believe her before she formally accused Alves. Another officer said the woman told him, "I don't want money, I want justice." Alves modified his defense during the investigative phase while in custody. Let's hear this. First denying any sexual contact with her. Come on, man. You can't deny and then admit later on. That's not a good look, fam. That's not a good look. I'll just say that. You can't deny and admit later on. Not in a case like this. Before admitting to sexual relations that he said were no, it's clearly not. It's clearly not. You wouldn't have denied in the first place if it was consensual. Like, what? Why would you deny in the first place? Was he pleading the drunk defense? He said he had been trying to save his marriage by not admitting to the encounter initially. I'll get to that. During the trial, his defense focused on trying to show that Alves was drunk when he met the woman. How did I call? The court, however, did not consider that as an extenuating circumstance in his ruling. Its conviction shatters Alves' legacy. I don't care about that. Moving on. Yeah, he's still on. By the way, he's still on Barcelona's honor roll. Which, again, do what you want. It's your club, but I wouldn't want someone like this to be the face of my football club or my anything that I'm doing. I don't care what he has achieved. Like, this guy is denying. Okay, why? Okay, you're saying let's take going before going to this. Let's just go back to the other article, to the previous article. So going back here, he says. He first denied knowing the accuser, only to claim that he later met her in a toilet. This is why I wish for a transcript, because that's awful. That's awful. You deny having sex, but you say, "Oh, I was having problem with marriage." How did you, like? First and foremost, you saying you know her in a toilet, but there is clear evidence of you leading her and taking her to the toilet. And then she changed her mind. Okay. He first denied the accuser blah, blah. He then changed his version of events again, saying that they had consensual sex. We are both enjoying ourselves, he alleged. I don't know. See, you see what I mean? None of this is here compared to what we read about the wife and the issues about the wife. This is why I don't like reading it from news sources, because I want the full story. But from what we've gathered so far, it does seem like it's conclusive, because what it is there's enough evidence here, especially based on the testimony of the friend and also the cameras that was already in the club, because I'm pretty sure there were cameras showing how these two were interacting before going into the club, going into the toilet, and then whatever happened after that. That doesn't, if she's coming out crying, how does that suggest consensual? Your credibility is weak at that point. But let me say hi to the chat once again. 5 minutes. Okay, random girl wanting to leave does not equal no. Wanting to leave, no. Wanting to leave doesn't equal no. No. Wanting to leave. No. Oh, okay. What I was trying to say with that, because they have yes v yes principle, right? So basically meaning everything has to be consent. So the antonym of yes is no. So if you're wanting to leave and you haven't expressed it, from what I interpret of that principle, it means that you cannot just expect or you cannot think that person is now consenting because they didn't express that no vocally. It was still kicking the 4-year minimum sentence, but from what I understood of it, if they express no, that's when the 6 years comes in, right? That's what I think. So if she's wanting to leave but didn't express no, but obviously on what we read, she did express no, but let's say that she didn't, then it would make sense why you got 4 years. But everything that I've read, if you're gonna give Alves the minimum sentence, it should have been 6. Is what I'm trying to say. It should have been 6 years, but because it was written on the article that we read that he did get a lighter sentence because of the fact that he paid without conditions. So the court, and I think that's egregious, that the court actually took the fact that he paid them, that the court actually took that to mean, okay, we'll give him a lighter sentence. I think that's a smack in the face. That's what I think. So that's why I believe he got 4 years rather than 6, because he would have been getting 6 years in regards to it. It's just I don't think their judicial system is saying that the no part. I think he's just trying to compensate for the sentencing structures, in terms of the minimum sentences, to kind of compensate for the ones that are not expressed, so that it kind of close the gap rather than have it that he gets no sentence at all, because he could have escaped sentence if the thing was not expressed. Yeah, I agree. I don't disagree. I see the logic that they're trying to do, but I don't agree that is actually the most. I actually think if you're going to increase it from 6 to 12 to 15 years, because that was the reformation, keep it like that. Like, keep it like that. But the fact that it allows you to drop to 4 just because the person didn't express the no and it was just gestures, etc. I think it's doubly. Think about it. If she didn't express the no, right, he would have probably got 2 years because he paid. Do you know how that is? I actually agree with you. That's what I'm trying to say. It is actually effed. That to me is not justice. That doesn't make any sense. Because what I'm deducing from all this, reading all of this, the no was expressed. So that should have been minimum 6. If you're gonna give the minimum, if you're adamant on the minimum sentence, it should have been 6. But you gave him a 4 leeway. So if he did get a 4 and she didn't express the no like that, we just read that she was expressing at the time. If she didn't get that, if she didn't express that no, this will mean that the minimum sentence will be 4 years, and because he paid, it's 2 years. I just don't agree with all of it. I think it's just too much pragmatism, maybe. I don't know. I think it's too much trying to play both sides, and it's not necessarily taking the victim into account here, especially if it's clear cut. Because I think he should have, first time offense, I can somewhat understand. If this is a first time offense, yes, it's a egregious crime. First time offense, maybe give him 8. But I vehemently disagree that because he paid, don't factor it in at all. Do not factor the fact that he paid for the victims without the victim's family without conditions, because he gave that to the court. Don't factor that into his sentencing. That should not have a factor one bit, but they did, and that is what I believe. Yes, it is effed. Because this one, but the main point I want to make from this is, do not use this case to say it's a false accusation, because it really isn't. This case is really slam dunk. It's really it's open and shut. So this is in regards to the wife. We're just gonna go back to it. It says Daniel model wife shares first picture with disgraced Barcelona star. Daily Mail goes in on this one. Since being released from prison as he appeals grape conviction, and she tells him strong and happy. Long headline, but we're gonna read it. It is on a second. This is their picture. 1 + 1 = 1. I mean, logically, no. Look, listen. Listen. This is. I'm just gonna say this, but this is my pet peeve. It's 1 × 1 = 1. Be fruitful and multiply. You use multiply as the operation rather than addition. I'm sorry. You're probably thinking it's so irrelevant, but when I was reading this story, I was like, that was bothering me for so long. I was like, no, it's 1 × 1 = 1. You can't multiply by you can't, multiply and get 1, out of that. So that makes more logical sense because I don't know, man. I don't know. It was just bothering me. It was bothering me. But so she is standing in solidarity with him, but at the same time, again, the 2 cases that I've shown today, in terms of Quincy Promes and in terms of Dani Alves, one of them has destroyed his legacy, and I don't get why. I mean, I cannot, in my world, imagine where I would get to a point that I'm having problems with my. I've been here as well. I've been here where I was having not like this. Not like this. I just want to clarify that. Not like Dani Alves, but I've had, bad relationships, but I've never thought for 1 minute I'm going to go to a club and make a girl have sex with me because I'm going through a bad patch in my relationship. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on within their marriage. I just don't think. I think there are times in which, again, I don't know what's going on with their marriage. He committed adultery. To me, that's my part done. If the wife chooses to forgive him for the adultery that he's done, then that's on her. She can do that. But so I'm not going to try and dissect that. What I'm trying to say is I think we have to look at it. There are times that you don't have to be a ride or die. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to bash her for audition, by the way. Whatever you choose to do in your marriage, you do it. But there are times you don't have to be ride or die, because some people are loyal to people that don't deserve their loyalty. And they have this concept that no matter what they do, there are times that people cannot reform because they know that they'll always have people around them no matter what. And I think that culture has to change a little bit. I think you should be loyal to your partner or friend at certain times, but if they have done a crime, it's something really legitimately wrong, a crime. I'm not talking about petty arguments that you believe that your friend is losing, but you're staying loyal anyway. Actually, I think you can do that. If you want to embarrass yourself, I mean, you can do that. I actually don't mind that. If it's a fight and you're your friend's was wrong to instigate a fight, but you still got beat up, you should still defend your friend. All those things is petty. It's not arising to a level of criminality where, let's say your friend was a baking soda smuggler. You're not gonna be loyal to that. I wouldn't subscribe to that. I wouldn't agree with that. There is a point that you need to draw the line. And some people have a bit longer threshold, but I believe it should be a lot more stricter. Because the amount of support that this guy got from his footballer friends during a trial, saying that the girl was lying, and this was the same guy. Memphis Depay was also supporting him. If you don't know Memphis Depay, he's not really important to know about this. But there is a case that I'm looking at in later on in the case of Ferland Mendy, where he did support, and that was a credible case of false accusation. I am gonna also dig into that case in the months to come. But that particular case, in my opinion, him doing something like this as well, on top of it, just muddies the water. It destroys everything that we know already. To take false accusations seriously, you can't be standing behind certain characters when you know that they're really wrong and they have really done this. His defense was, I'm not that kind of man. If someone has been falsely accused, that's not going to be your defense. We have, like, that's what I mean by an actual credible case. His own words is what convicted all of this. That is not a defense. I'm not a kind of man. It's not a defense. You would methodically show, because it bothers you. There's a psyche in you that's like, no, I'm not having this. It did not happen. And you would do everything to, like, even maybe over-explain yourself. I'm not a kind of man. Because I'm pretty sure if they're saying, like, they gave detailed accounts of how he contradicted himself. You don't do that if that person, like, you don't, I don't know. But this was a real case of false accusation. Let me go to the chat. Sorry, not false accusation. This was a real case of a rape victim. Grape victim. I gotta give grape victim. Yeah. Megan J, welcome to the chat. Thank you so much for joining. People need worthy of that loyalty. It's like earning respect. You should earn that level of loyalty if that's what loyalty means to that individual. Absolutely. This is why someone's integrity is very important as well. Yes, I think literacy is lost on many people in today's day and age. But at the same time, it's one of those things. You can't expect it from everyone, but I do think a lot of it is just down to perhaps education. But there comes a point that education that we should be looking at getting people to kind of speed up the process. I mean, like, in terms of reforming their character from young, developing their character from young. I think education can only do so much. It's the application of your knowledge that goes the distance. And if you're not being taught how to apply, then it falls apart. You're just talking to the brick wall, but you're just talking to the air. So yeah, this is the part now that I wanna chat with you guys. So if you guys have any cases that is similar to this, I would be very happy to, like, look at it really quickly, or any cases that are not similar to this, because these streams only last for 2 hours or 1 hour 45 minutes depending on how it goes, and the last 15 minutes I like to spend time with you guys and basically go through this case. So what do you think of these particular cases that we run? If you missed the first part of this case, of this stream, we were talking about the case of Quincy Promes that was basically he was arrested. He basically was arrested in Dubai after being he was in Russia, kind of, I would say, escaped. He kind of escaped extradition because he was in Russia to the Netherlands, but somehow his Russian team, Spartak Moscow, went to Dubai for a training camp, and that's where he got arrested in connection with a hit and run. But he was removed from that, and then he got arrested again for the drug trafficking case, and he's now being most likely going to be extradited from Dubai to the Netherlands to serve his sentence, because there is now, and I'm thinking, I mean, again, to go back to that case, I'm thinking if you're gonna do this and you know you got away with it, I would have avoided that country like a plague. I would have just called in a sick. Hey, I would have, if I'm being cynical, I would have just took a hammer and bashed my knee in. Oh Lord, I'll see myself out. I'm sorry for that. But I don't know, man. I would have done everything to just avoid the going to court for this. I mean, to avoid going to that country knowing the extradition laws. Maybe he didn't know the extradition laws to prepare like that. But I would have looked, because I am here and I know I'm wanted in this country, and I know I'm kind of shielded here. I would not have jumped on a plane, but I guess fate has a funny way of playing itself. And then we moved on to the case of Dani Alves. But in the case of Dani Alves, and this is, if you are real, I don't know. I mean, it serves as a tale of. It serves as a tale of more. I think it's more of, maybe you should watch if you're really not that kind of guy. Let's say you're not. Let's take his word for it. It definitely is like, your actions carry so much weight. Your actions will catch up with you, because there is no way how. Yes, you have achieved a lot. You've done this, but I don't know about you, but I don't think any one of us, and the way, like, I don't think any one of us is brought up to be thinking that we are above people, right? I think people get like that because they've learned something along the way, and money and fame has influenced it. Because I don't know. I'm not gonna speak on parenting, etc. Because I know his mom defended him when it came to this trial. One second. We should expect it from everyone. Unfortunately, we don't. I expect it. Let me know. Unfortunately, that's not true. Let me know what's not true, so that I can, respond to that. Let me know what you mean by that's not true. But to go back to what I was saying, in regards to Dani Alves' mother, Lucia Alves, I don't think. I mean, you're going to support your child regardless, because going through something like that, guilty or not, there is a human element here that they're still going through something regardless. So you don't want your child to essentially be left in the cold, basically. So I can understand why she would have that vested interest to look after the child, no matter what they are, no matter what they've done. Okay, so Megan J says the parenting bit. Oh, okay, cool. So if it's the parenting, I mean, okay, maybe some parents instill into their child that they're better than them. Maybe I'm going a bit biased to my upbringing, but what I was trying to say with that was not. I mean, I know for a fact if I came back home and there was a story of me like graping somebody, my mom would kill me, fam. I don't think you understand. My siblings would not let me live. Even just on the accusation alone. Even just on the like I think they would talk to me. But it's one of those ones where they know I can't lie to them. So if I did do it, they would kill me. They wouldn't support me, basically. So I don't know the interactions between these guys. I don't know what it's like, but to see the contradiction in court, I wonder how she felt, first and foremost. But I definitely know for a fact that if this was to happen and I did do it, my parents would not support me. They would. I just don't think they would. That's what I was mainly trying to allude to. Whether I don't think they would. Without going into whether I did it or not, or just the accusation or not, I just don't think if I was actually guilty of this, they wouldn't do it. Maybe during trial, maybe. I don't know. I still don't think they would do it. But parents sometimes don't understand how to raise a children in every way. I agree with this. That's true. Random Girl says, I love my son, but I'm the first person to assume he's guilty within reason. I'm the first person to assume he's guilty within reason. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like it's just yeah, because I'm laughing because I see the logic. That's why I'm laughing, to be honest, because I'm like, I know I raised you to know the rules. I know I raised you to know what's right and wrong. So if you're being accused of doing something, it can't be frivolous. You need to explain what you did, and you better tell me the truth. And it was based on that discussion that I would be like, yeah, okay, I can believe you. You know, I can believe you, or I cannot believe you. It will be based on that interaction, and because without that interaction happening, I cannot say whether I believe them or not. But the point I'm trying to make is, I can somewhat understand. I can actually somewhat understand why Random Girl made that comment, and it's actually true. I see the logic. I see it. I really see it, because there is absolutely no way on earth that I'm raising my child to know right from wrong. He's gonna accuse him of something, and I'm like, okay, he's not guilty. What do you mean? You raised him to know right from wrong. Why would you not want to sit down and be like, why would you go out and do this wrong thing? We talked about this. And he's like, Mom, they're coming after me. This is the receipts. I wasn't even there. If those were the conversations, you know, if my son said, no, I really wasn't there. Look, I was at my friend's house. I don't know what they're talking about. That's when I'm like, I get it. I will support you 100%. Let's take this. Let's build a case. Let's get you out of this jam. But there will come a time where you have to kind of stand on business and be like, son, did you do this? And then you hear what they say, and then, you know, if it's skewing down to that path that is like, okay, yeah, he did it, but he's lying to me, then you kind of have to like, no, I'm not going to support you during trial. So, which is why I'm going back to, again, I don't want to say anything because in regards to her parenting or anything like that, I'm not going to say anything in regards, but she was very supportive of Dani Alves. And I'm like, sometimes some parents get like that. You know, no matter what, their child is faultless. You know, they could have, I mean, think about it. Like, I mean, I actually don't know Dani Alves' personal life, but if they came out from the slums and Dani is like responsible for, like, you know, bringing them out of that could have an extra, you know, leeway, or I don't know what the actual word is called, but that could have an extra effect on the mother deciding, actually, I don't care what is being shown to me. I know what how they treat black people. I don't know. So many things will come in that confirms their bias. That's what I'm trying to say. So I don't want you to think I'm looking at the mom in any way, or I'm blaming the mom in any way. I'm basically saying that I just, like, there comes a point where you need to let the person hang dry to really understand the consequences of their actions. Because for one, he's already rich, so he can pretty much afford to get himself out of any jam he wants to. There are some jams that you cannot get yourself out of, money or not. And sometimes people need to go through that kind of jam to really, hopefully, bring about some change. And I'm looking at this case, looking at the fact that he paid, and because of that he was given a lighter sentence, all these things, you're not really showing people why they should take any of this seriously. That's my point. Then, like, the communication, the implicit communications is way more louder. It's way louder. It's way more, it goes into your subconscious. When people internalize these things and they see the system going like this, I can actually see why some people bemoan the system and be like, I don't have faith in this. Because how do you, and again, I'll repeat it, like, forget everything else that we've talked about this stream. If there's one thing to take away from this stream, is the fact that the court literally allowed this guy to pay without conditions, by the way, and they reduced his sentence for it. That's a reward. I'm sorry, that's not showing, that's a reward. That shouldn't be the case. Take the money, yes, take the money, offer it. If they don't want to accept it, you give it to a charity in the community, or you give it to a council, the local council, no idea. Whatever happens with the money is not important. But you don't go ahead and extend an extra olive branch and give a lighter sentence. That makes no sense. I do not. That's the one part I don't agree with all of this. It completely undermines. It completely undermine the victim. That's not the right word I want to use. It completely diminishes. It completely diminishes the value or the worth of the personhood. It completely diminishes the value of. It completely diminishes the personhood or whatever personhood that the victim may have retained during all of this. It kind of communicates, we don't care about you, implicitly. I mean, technically, that's what it communicates. Because why on earth are you looking at the damn abuser in this case in any favorable light just because he paid? I'm sorry. And, this is the one thing that really upset me about this case, because I don't think that decision right there, that needs to change. I completely, and I'll say it again and again. If you're going to have people take credible, both false accusations and credible and not cast aspersions to the real rape victims, grape victims, you need to really send a message that you condemn this crime and not show any leniency. If you're gonna give the minimum sentence, fine, but to reduce it to 4 years, where she could have got 6, just because he paid, I'm sorry. That's just weird. I don't agree with that. You need to the system needs to come down hard on the people that actually are perpetrators of this crime, regardless. If they plead guilty, I can understand. If you plead guilty, to me, I get that. I get the logic behind pleading guilty. I get the logic behind, trying to sentence them, because you want to encourage more and more people not to waste their court resources, not to go through a long trial, getting a jury together, all those things. You don't want to do that. So I can see why, to ease the burden on everyone, encourage people to plead guilty, encourage plea bargains, encourage all those things. I can see why that's the case. What I don't get is they plead not guilty, but I'm paying, so I'm still gonna get that. You see what I mean? Anyway, let me just. I'm gonna close off with reading the final few words of this chat. Yeah, random girl says, "Show me the proof." Yes, absolutely. I'm the same. Look, I'm the same with my child as I am with myself. I wouldn't want to give them any leeway. I know how I raised them, and I raised them to be accountable. Well, I hope to raise them to be accountable. And I know I'm a stickler for staying in the boundary or staying in the confines of the law, not overstepping. So there's no way that I can teach my child right from wrong. They go and commit the wrong and I'm going to take them lenient. No way. Absolutely no way. You're going to get a harsher punishment from me, personally. But I also equally want to open the dialogue, that we can open the space that we can actually discuss this, and you are more peace telling me, because I don't get twisted. I don't want my children to go blabbing to the police what happened, because I know forever they'll use that against them. I want them to feel comfort in coming to me and blabbing to me and saying everything to me that happened, everything like that, and then we move. And then we strategize from there. Whatever. But at the same time, they better be telling the truth. Megan J says, narcissistic parents are like that because the child's mistakes are a reflection of them. So their children are always a victim in their situation, just like, oh wow, Megan is dropping some bombs here. I like this. I did not know that. Let me drop a bomb for that. I like that, Megan. But yeah, so yes, I mean, I don't know much about. I know a bit about narcissism, but I don't know how it goes on generationally, right? So, so I definitely have to really look on this. But again, I will see you. Before I say that, thank you so much, Megan J, Lush, Princess Consuela for tuning in as well. Thank you every single one of you that have tuned in for this stream. I appreciate, and also the lurkers as well. I appreciate you for actually. Sorry about that. I appreciate you for actually being part of this stream, and hearing this case out, because yeah, these cases, I mean, I can't, like, it's just one of those ones that leaves me to ponder a bit on human nature, etc. And like I said, in the limited time I do have, I will try my best to bring as much information as possible. But when I do have a bit more time to free up, because I know how to head it really well, I've been doing it for 4 years now, so I've gotten a lot better. So what you know what you see on the legal labyrinths, etc. And I just needed to get back into my groove again. My previous videos are not as in-depth and great as this one, but I just need to get back to into my groove again. I'm remembering all the tricks I used to do with the previous channels I used to do, and it's one of those ones I can edit in a day. Like, I really love editing. I really love editing, but I underestimated the workload that it takes to put together a documentary, and that's what has prolonged a lot of the work, prolonged the release of this. So once all that's clear, there'll be a lot more content coming. There'll be definitely a lot more content coming, and I cannot wait to do that. I cannot wait to really connect with you guys. I cannot wait to bring together the cases that are out there, and just really get back into like discussing cases again and discussing current events that involved cases, and yeah. So again, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Again, we are talking about Sherry Spencer, which was this was a real credible case of Darvo happening to the man, and yeah, it's like it even includes defecating. It even includes defecating on the, like, where have we heard that before? Where have we heard defecation before? But she defecated on her husband. It was sad reading all of it. So I'm going to bring that case to you next week. We're going to dive right into it. But yeah, I appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. I'm gonna go back to the chat again. Random girl, thank you, Ketchup. Thank you so much for tuning in, Megan J. Yes, geez, indeed, geez. You same time. If you're in the US, or I will always post the stream times, but I will try to get more active on the community notes so that you guys can be more informed of the content that I have coming out. Definitely do watch out for that. I know I say that every single time. I know I say that every single time, and I'm really trying, but I am getting into the groove of having, like, being on schedule. Like, so much changes has had to happen. Thank you. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but my psychosis kind of turned out to be a blessing, because I was told I had to make real hard lifestyle changes in order to recover. Sorry about that. I promise that they're not here to arrest me. I'll see myself out for that joke. But what I was trying to say was, I know saying that my psychosis has turned out to be a blessing is kind of a weird thing to say, but one of the things that I was advised by my therapist was that I had to make real hard lifestyle changes. And this is something that, that so that I can at least help myself with this recovery. It's not guaranteed, but it really does help. So when I made those changes, it has brought, yes, it was abrupt to my system. It resulted in, like, you know, me having weird breakdowns, etc. Unplanned breakdowns, etc. But I also had to like learn pacing as well, all those things. But the point I'm trying to make is now those changes that I've made is kind of putting me in a really good path. Like in a path that I feel a lot more present with myself, feel a lot more confident. At last. So like, you know, so I'm sharing all of that to say that, you know, I again, like I said, I really appreciate every single one of your patients, you know, and I appreciate every one of your patients, and I do appreciate, even though I have 3 or 5 viewers, I don't care how many viewers I have on my stream. I just want you to hear the story. I want to keep you here to hear these stories, and that's all I care about, the story. And maybe I can do work on refining the story, refining what you get to see. But definitely, even if it's just one of you, even if it's just, you know, I would be very happy to speak to 5, 10, 1, 2, whatever. Just so that, because these stories, it really, when it strikes a chord, I gotta tell somebody. Basically, I just gotta tell somebody. So, and I made this stream just for that. Heinz Sight, I'm always surveilling. I'm always reflecting. Whatever it is, you know, it's always 2020. We can always look at this case, but I don't want to look at it in the sense of trying to like, you know, hindsight 2020. We didn't know that then. We know that now. The point of this stream is to like, okay, but how can we move forward from this? That's what I want to aim from this. And moving forward, especially with the case of Dani Alves, especially with the case of Dani, well, with the case of Promise, do not go to a country that the extradition laws is going to get you right back to where you're trying to escape from. That's one. if you're gonna, like, at least be smart. But, you know, that's a bit of humor done. But in the case of Dani Alves, definitely, moving forward, that law has to be reformed. Whatever law that they have going on, if it goes on in the UK, get it out. That law has to be reformed. You shouldn't get leniency just because you paid the court. For what? Plead guilty. Then you get leniency. It's already in, you know what I mean? Like, that has to change. If there's anything, that has to change. But anyway, thank you so much. Let me just say bye to you guys one more time. Random Girl, healing vibes for your recovery. Thank you. Megan J, we're very proud of you on your journey. Thank you so much. Definitely mess around and find out. Mess around and find out. Yeah. But I'm thank you for the it says it's okay, you're very ADHD. I actually don't have ADHD. I've been tested so many times. I actually don't have it. It's just my, like, you know, I am easily distracted. But I don't have the markers or the clusters or what. I don't have it. Like, they haven't diagnosed me with what's required to actually have a diagnosis of ADHD. But I do use some of the techniques that works for ADHD viewers. But again, it doesn't always work for me. I have to keep innovating and finding new techniques. I use the Pomodoro system sometimes. That doesn't work. I change the time around. That's better. Some people, anyway. Point is, but it's okay. You're very ADHD, and we're here for it. Just make sure you have compassion for yourself. That's the main point I want to take from this, is compassion, because that's something I have personally, you know, never had for myself. So I am gonna take that away from this. Thank you, Megan, for that. And yeah, I'm gonna close out on skid marks. We're gonna talk about skid marks. I'm gonna have fun next week. We're gonna have fun next week. We're gonna have fun next week discussing that case, because boy is it wild. But yeah, thank you so much everyone for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great evening. Take care of yourself. Just want to say, take care of yourself. Have a great day or evening. I don't know where you, wherever you're at, and if you're in Australia, it's probably just beginning. Your day is probably just beginning, but wherever you're at, take care of yourself, and have a good one. I see your comment, Megan J. I can't highlight it now, but thank you for the sense of humor comment. I really do appreciate that. Let me just quickly go to it. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you like my sense of humor, because you can't get cringy sometimes. I mean, sometimes I really, let me not think about it. Thank you. But yeah, I will see you guys on the next stream. Take care of yourself. I will announce it in the coming days. So bye for now. I will keep surveilling. I will keep finding the cases. And we will always dissect it together, because hindsight is always 2020. But what can we take from it? What can we move on to apply in the future? So yeah, with that in mind, I say thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great evening or day wherever you're at, and take care. Bye bye.